Each and every day, enjoy the Simple Six menu at Subway. An entire made-for-you meal featuring one of 6 6-inch sandwiches like the Italian BMT or Black Forest ham, with any bag of chips and a 21-ounce drink, all for only $6. Subway. Eat fresh.
The BS Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects. The BS Report. The BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the BS Report. A hazy, gloomy day here in Southern California. Week 10, almost in the books. We have Carolina and Philadelphia tonight. Yesterday was interesting. Interesting day of football, even though there are only 12 games. Detroit and Miami was really good. Kansas City, Buffalo was really good. San Francisco, New Orleans was excellent. And then the late game stunk. Cousin Sal, did you go apple picking late games?
No, I stuck around because I went apple chasing because I had lost so much in the morning games. And I'm starting to think this gambling thing is a losing proposition overall. But
you can think that, but at the same time, the most obvious three-team teaser in a long time actually hit. Baltimore, right. Denver, and Seattle.
Well, here's what Vegas did. First of all, I wish we could play back our reaction to when we figured out that Pittsburgh's line was 4.5 last week, opened at 2.5.
Right.
And we both, and then you wrote about it, said that this is the ultimate stay away. And I don't even know what that means, the ultimate stay away. Like, why does Vegas know how this is going to turn out? We don't think we don't think there's going to be millions of dollars given to Antonio Brown to fumble or Roethlisberger to play subpar. But we knew that was going to be the stay away, and yet I had it and we lost. But Vegas got killed in the late games. All 3 late afternoon games. Favorite one covered and the over hit, and then the night game, the Green Bay and the over was easy. So interesting day.
So you and I made a big deal before the season how we thought this was going to be the year of the underdog.
Right.
The underdog won on Thursday night with the atrocious Bengals performance against Cleveland. But then the underdogs, they went 2-9 yesterday. 2-9 is not good, Sal. And
no,
now for the
good.
season, the underdogs are actually 4 games under 500.
Yeah.
And by the way, if Jimmy Graham catches that Hail Mary, the first ever push-off called for offensive pass interference in Hail Mary history, if that is a catch, we would have had the underdogs would have been 1-10 yesterday.
That's true. And by the way, Jimmy Graham says he definitely did not push off on the Hail Mary. He was interviewed afterwards.
Have you ever seen that called?
No, I've never seen it called. They said he pushed them high, which was a difference. A lot of them push in the midsection and get away with it, but it was blatant. But no, I've never seen offensively or defensively the pass interference on the Hail Mary. But I do say Jimmy Graham should watch it. They're going to be drug testing soon, and you clearly extended your arms and threw the Niner to the ground. So maybe be a little more truthful.
That was a garbage win by the Niners. I mean, congratulations. The goal is to win, but the 4th and 10 was outrageous. Nice pass by Kaepernick, but
51 yards.
I just one of the. I mean, I feel like the Saints 100% lost that game, and the Niners kind of won. They were just kind of there. It was like somebody gave them $50 and just handed it to them. Yeah,
in a game where Kaepernick couldn't find Crabtree on a 6-yard out the whole game for 3.5 quarters, and then he finds him for 51 yards. That's a miserable loss. But the Saints have the luxury of being in that crap division where you really just have to win your division game, so it doesn't really matter.
Right. Are we sure Drew Brees is that good anymore?
I don't know. I don't know what goes on. Like, why is Marquise Colston not good? Why is it a big deal when in the fourth quarter he catches like a 16-yard pass and everyone goes nuts? Like,
why does Drew Brees make so many dumb throws for somebody who's a top 5 QB?
Yeah, that's a weird team from week to week.
Well, I have our list of cross-offs.
Oh, good.
Now, we're heading into week 11. Ironically, I have 11 cross-offs here.
How many times have we crossed off and recircled Atlanta? But go ahead. I want to hear your cross.
Atlanta has been uncrossed off.
Yeah.
Oakland, no wins.
Right. They're out.
Tampa Bay, Jacksonville, 1 win apiece.
Yep.
The Giants and the Titans have been crossed off with 2 wins.
Okay.
Oh, no, not the Giants.
Jets, yeah.
The Jets, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They've been crossed off for a while. 3-win teams that have been crossed off: the Bears, Giants, Skins, and Rams. 4-win teams crossed off. I'm sorry, I'm crossing off Minnesota and Houston.
Yeah.
So that brings us to 11.
Because
now,
Houston can't win a division. And Minnesota can't win a division, and they're not getting wild cards, right?
So
that's 11?
That's 11, and amazingly, we cannot cross off the Panthers at 3-5-1 or the Falcons at 3-6.
Right. I guess the Falcons are back.
Yeah. I had a category called probable cross-offs.
Nice.
Bills 5-4, Chargers 5-4, Panthers 3-5-1. I just don't think the Panthers are good. I mean, they've been getting killed in some of these games. So once they lose tonight, they'll be 3-6-1.
I kind of like them tonight, but
you do?
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, I kind of do.
How come?
Well, I think everyone's going a little too crazy. Let's sit back a second and realize Mark Sanchez is a quarterback on a Monday night game. And they're giving a bunch of 6 points. So
listen, Trent Dilfer once upon a time on this podcast said, if you took all the quarterbacks from that draft class, Flacco, all those guys, he'd toss the keys. They'd all toss the keys to Mark Sanchez.
Really?
The car keys when they're all leaving to go somewhere. Sanchez would be the driver.
I see. What does that mean? He's the
I don't know what that means.
He has to quit as a quarterback and become a valet parker, or he's in the driver's seat?
I don't know what that means. The Falcons are terrible.
Yeah.
They're really just atrocious, and somehow they've beaten Tampa twice in their game out.
Well, we talked about the Falcons and the Bears. They're fantasy phonies. You have everyone on their fantasy team. You have, even Cutler up until 2 weeks ago was a top 5 fantasy quarterback. And then there's, Forte and Marshall and Jeffrey and then Julio Jones and Roddy White and, Matt Ryan like everybody else. But, I don't trust that team. I watched that Tampa game closely, and they could have lost it a bunch of times.
So you're rooting for – this is why I don't trust you with that Panthers pick. It's great for you if the Eagles blow that game tonight.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm rooting against them. I was actually rooting for the Giants. This is the earliest in the season I've rooted for the Giants, looking ahead to my Cowboys' potential wild card berth. I needed Seattle to lose, but that didn't happen.
So I think Pats, Broncos, Colts are definitely in. I think Cards, Lions, and I think the Eagles are, unless they lose tonight, which I don't think they will. I think the Eagles can get to 10 or 11 wins. But
the Cards are definitely in.
I like the Cards.
Definitely one. I like them too, but they're 8-1,
like
and they don't have an easy. They have. I think they're at Atlanta, which it's in a few weeks, and by then, who knows what that game will be? It's easy-ish, but 2 versus Seattle, and then they're at San Fran, at St. Louis, and KC. Are they definitely in? They're a 12-win team. Yeah,
that team's excellent. That's the best coach team in the league.
I know.
By the way, thanks to everybody out there who sent me emails during yesterday's game. I didn't realize I could have single-handedly affect the Pittsburgh Jets game by just writing a column about Roethlisberger and Carson Palmer, nor did I realize I could blow out Carson Palmer's ACL.
Yeah, how did you do it?
Who knew? I don't know.
Magical powers you have.
It really was kind of crazy, though. But I geared my entire Friday column around Palmer and Roethlisberger, and they just could not have had a worse Sunday.
Nice.
The thing with the Steelers, though.
Are you going to do it to Andrew the Giant Luck this week?
Well, that's the thing. If I have these powers, I might as well really start using them.
Right.
I mean, maybe I write a column about who could I?
Well, your Patriots are playing the Colts, so you want Luck to disappear.
I wouldn't appreciate if you did one of those jinx columns. I'm very excited for that game.
Thank you for your comments, Andrew the Giant. Tough tack to outduel Tom Brady this Sunday night at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Do you know there's a fantastic Andre the Giant interview with David Letterman from like 82 or 83 that's on YouTube?
No.
And Andre comes out, and he's just gigantic. And Letterman, of course, you remember Letterman had like no couth back then.
Oh, yeah.
So just a lot of like, what's it like to be, do you scare kids? Like a lot of those kind of questions.
Yeah.
And Andre's just laughing off. He was just so gigantic. And
I have to find that because I remember that interview. I remember exactly what he was wearing, but I haven't seen it in forever. But yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's good. There's some good old Letterman from way back then.
Good.
So I'm trying to think what else from yesterday we had. Other than Vegas getting slaughtered, I guess the dumbest result of the day, I thought Buffalo just dominated the Chiefs.
Yeah, they did.
They really, to lose that, Kyle Orton killed them in that game. That was your classic, you're not winning 10 games in a season with Kyle Orton game. Just show that when Kyle Orton's Hall of Fame candidacy is being discussed in 2030 because he has 50,000 career passing yards or something, just show the clip of that game.
Show that game?
He killed them. They should have won by 10 points.
The Chiefs find a way, man. I don't know how they do it. They covered 8 straight, and they beat the spread by 93 points. They find Andy Reid knows his gambling.
They've covered 8 straight?
8 straight. They lost the first one, right, at Tennessee or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they lost the second one. Oh, yeah, you're right. So they're 8-1 against the spread?
Yes.
Wow.
They get it done. I still can't get over that Pittsburgh. We called that. Like, we knew that line was too low. I just don't understand. It's like Mike Tomlin should be like, he should talk to his team like, I'm sorry, fellas, we're going to lose this game. I can't explain it, but we're just going to lose this game. Don't even go out and get injured. Let's save ourselves.
I do think that's been a recurring theme during the Tomlin era. All the Steelers fans are nodding right now.
Yeah.
They tend to just blow stupid games. Games that I'd love to know how many games over the last 5-6. I'm going to look this up at some point this week. How many games they've lost over the last 5-6 years, including playoffs, when they've been favored between like 6 and 11 points.
That's pretty good.
I think they would be way up there with whatever the total is.
We should look at that.
I had the Chiefs at 7-2 against the spread.
You do? I don't know. I read something that when I thought it was 8-1. I don't know. We can go back.
All right, I'm going to go back.
This
will be really exciting radio right now.
8-1 sounds.
8-1 sounds really
high.
Better.
KC at Denver, they covered. The first
they covered that Niners game, right? That Niners were 6. They lost by 5.
Yep.
This Vegas site I'm looking at has them at 7-2, but I think you're right. I think they are 8-1.
I think so.
That's pretty impressive. This site that I'm looking at, the worst teams right now are the Jets and Jacksonville, 2-7-1 apiece.
For covering, yeah.
You know, the Rams should have covered that Cardinals game. That was stupid.
Well, I was going to ask you, like, you know, you have your rankings about blowout wins and either way wins. Where do you put that Rams? Both those late afternoon games, Rams, Cardinals, and even Seahawks Giants. Like, that game was close, and everyone's given Richard Sherman credit for tipping that ball. He did not tip that ball. Beckham tipped the ball to Earl Thomas.
Right.
But that's a game until then. And same with Arizona. They were losing 14-10, I think, and they scored like 3 times in 6 minutes or something, maybe even 4 times.
I think that was a legit win by the Cards.
Cards?
Yeah, they scored 20 points in the fourth quarter. The game was over with 7 minutes left.
All right. Okay.
But, you know, yet again, the Rams, I think on this podcast last week, and then in my column, I wrote about how they're like a golfer that just can't put it together. It was classic, like great drive, great approach shot. They're on a par 5. All they need is a little chip and up and down. They're going to get a birdie, and they chipped it over the green in a sand trap, and then took 3 times to get out of the trap. Like that's the Rams.
Yeah.
This week, week 11. We have 4 teams on a bye. 2 of them stink, the Jets and the Jaguars. 2 of them are actually good, Dallas and Baltimore.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. I'm not going to get too excited about the Cowboys win. I thought still a couple stupid things. First and goal from the 2. They throw twice. Third, you know. But you had to have that game. And did not have to leave everybody in until the fourth quarter, as late as they did. But
you had to have that game, though.
Had to have that game.
I'm looking for the NFC North odds. Or I'm sorry, AFC North odds, which
I think Baltimore. I think there's 3 teams tied at plus 160 or something.
Is it crazy?
I didn't write this down.
For me to think that. I think Baltimore. Not only does Baltimore win that division, I think we're going to be kicking ourselves that we didn't bet on it.
Really? Yeah. I think a month from now we're not going to know who the hell is going to win that division.
Because that Browns team is pretty fraudulent.
Here's their secondary is very good, very, very good. But
no, I'm just like, look at their wins this year.
I know.
Just go through the season. You know, like they beat the Titans by 1. They actually really beat the Steelers. They beat the Raiders by 10. They beat the Bucks by 5, and they won on Thursday night in Cincinnati because Andy Dalton took one of the biggest dumps anyone's taken in a game.
Yeah, but that's it though. You know, there's always one team like that who wins bad games, but they get better because they get used to winning, and then they start beating good teams. Like I know Cincinnati. I don't even know how you rate that one because Dalton was so bad, and it was on 3 days.
So
let's
give them the next two. Let's just say they win the next two. Let's
Atlanta
say they win
and
at
Houston,
home
right?
against Houston, and then they win at Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
They still have to go at Buffalo, home for Indy, home for Cincy, at Carolina, at Baltimore.
Right. All tough. December. I always knew that. Yep.
You could say at Atlanta, at Buffalo, Indy, at Carolina, at Baltimore. They're going to go 1-4 in those games.
Yeah.
And if they go 1-4, they don't win the division.
The great Josh Gordon is back, though. Remember, next week.
He's been on my East Coast fantasy team. I did, that juggernaut East Coast fantasy team I did. I made an unbelievable move this week.
Yeah.
My team was so good.
You made another unbelievable move, but tell me about this one first. But go ahead.
Okay, so we have only 4 subs in this thing. Uh-huh. And I had like 5 people on a bye week, including my 2 quarterbacks, Rivers and Brady. And I just didn't want to waive anyone. I love my team, and I've been stashing Josh Gordon for weeks. And I just said, screw it. I can win without a QB this week. And I started Tom Brady in a bye week, and I won by 10.
What?
It was great. Yeah, that was great. My team is that
good. They must want to kill you, those guys.
But I did it intentionally, though.
I know. They must want to kill you.
Listen to this team I have. Now, granted, these are all my college buddies, and, some of them.
Not anymore. They want nothing to do with you.
Hold on. This team, I know people hate when people talk about their fantasy team, but I really have to talk about this team. Hold on. It's downloading. Why is this taking
Are you sure you did it on purpose? I feel like you checked out, because while you look at that, let me tell you what you did in our league. I don't even know if you realize this. You're 2-7 entering the week. I think you won this week. But you picked up the Buccaneers' backup quarterback, Mike Glennon, and it was already announced. It was announced. It was announced that McCown was starting. It absolutely was.
No, but I didn't know. I just didn't know that McCown was starting.
Well, that's what I mean.
That's why. But I also waived Mike Glennon after I found out he wasn't starting anymore.
Good for you. That's good.
I had all these terrible people on my team. I wanted to get rid of.
Because you drafted like 6 quarterbacks. All right, let's hear. What'd you do in the East Coast?
Well, here's what I have. My quarterbacks are Tom Brady and Phillip Rivers. My running backs are Matt Forte, Eddie Lacy, Ben Tate, and Brandon Oliver, and Bobby Rainey. My wide receivers are Dez Bryant, Demaryius Thomas, Keenan Allen, and Mike Evans. My tight end is Julius Thomas, and I have the Dolphins defense.
All right, that's good.
Did I mention I have Keenan Allen? I have him too.
Yeah, the Thomas brothers.
And Josh Gordon.
The Thomas brothers and Dez are tough. That's a tough beat for any week for anybody. That's
in
rough.
3 weeks, my receivers are going to be Dez Bryant, Demaryius Thomas, Keenan Allen, and Josh Gordon, with Mike Evans as my backup.
Right. That's good. And Mike Evans scores every week. And by the way, I do know the Thomas, they're not brothers. I'm just saying that. But
What?
No, they're not. They're not brothers. Sorry.
Well, I can't wait to see how I lose this week, this league, because I win every year in fantasy. So anyway, I lose every year in fantasy. So I like Baltimore to come out of that division. I think they're pretty good.
Let me tell you one thing about Baltimore that's different from the rest of them. They have one division game left. And it's at the Browns. I think it's the last week of the season. It's against the Browns. I think it's in Cleveland. That's pretty crazy. To only week 11, you'll have one game left.
Well, the Bengals are almost a cross-off. I mean, I'm happy to cross them off right now because they go. First of all, they have 3 road games in a row: at New Orleans, at Houston, at Tampa. Then Pittsburgh home, at Cleveland. Monday night at home, Denver, and then at Pittsburgh to finish the season.
Well, if they lose at the Saints, which they should, I will hold the pen with you and cross them off rapidly.
Cross them off.
But let's start with Thursday night because you might be able to cross off one of these teams. Buffalo at Miami. Both 5-4.
Can we call this a loser leaves home match?
I think so.
Match?
I think so.
This is our first legitimate loser leaves town match of the year.
Which is weird because if Miami had beaten Detroit, if that last drive, you would definitely think they were a playoff team. But
I think Miami is a top 7 team, and they might not. And they might not. Like if the season ended today, they wouldn't make it, and the Packers wouldn't make it.
Right. Yeah, even if the season ended like any day this week except today, like even if the season ended Saturday, that is weird that the Packers right now are not a playoff team, and yet they're third best odds to win the Super Bowl.
I'm going to say something right now, and I feel this way about all sports, especially in basketball, because I hate when this happens in basketball. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers should have gone for the touchdown record.
Oh, wow. He kind of did, didn't he?
Nah, he half-assed it. Yeah. It's 6.
Right.
Just go out, throw the other 2 in the third quarter, and then get out of there. And now for the rest of your life, you get to be the only guy who threw for 8 touchdowns in a football game.
Right.
How do you not go for that?
But not for the rest of your life.
For that.
But not for the rest of your life, because next week, luck will break it. No offense, but someone like every week there's a different great quarterback. We forget, but.
I love when people are like, well, you don't want to run it up. But they won 55-10. They're running it up anyway. Why wouldn't you want to run it up? You hate the Bears.
Right.
But it's like you have 6 touchdowns at halftime. Just go for it.
You don't want, when Mark Trestman wants revenge, you don't want to be on that side of it. You don't ever want to be on that.
Who in that Bears team is getting revenge?
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly the type of team you want to go for it. I was disappointed. I was really psyched for him to go for it.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, I have the Dolphins by 5.5. I think the Dolphins are really good.
Well, you're right, at least about the 5.5 part. I don't know if they're really good, but yeah, I said 6, and it is 5.5 indeed. And they lost 29-10 to the Bills in Week 1. I sort of like them this week, at least on a teaser.
I thought they choked in that Detroit game. I think, what was it, fourth and goal from the 2, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Or they had a 4th and 2 inside the 10?
Yeah.
4.5 minutes left?
It's tough. Detroit, the same as Arizona. They pull these games out. But that Brent Grimes interception for Miami was about as good as I've ever seen from a D-back.
Would you have gone for a 4th and 2? I would have.
On the road? Yeah, I think so.
Because worst case scenario, great. They're inside the 5-yard line.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
I didn't like that. I didn't think they played to win.
All right. Speaking of teams that don't play to win, Sunday we start off Minnesota at Chicago.
What a game this is. Wilbon was really upset last night. I actually checked on Twitter to see if Mays from Grantland had tweeted anything, or if he was alive, or if he posted some sort of letter like, I'd like to say goodbye to everybody. I'm going to disappear for a few years. Wilbon had like 8 tweets. He wanted everybody fired. He was as upset as, and he's not usually one of those guys who chases headlines.
Right.
You get my drift.
I got you.
But he was very upset. And by the time this podcast posts today, I do wonder if somebody is not going to be employed on the Bears.
Yeah, it could be. Which is the more impressive stat? Which is the more impressive? 106 points allowed in 2 weeks, or that Cutler is 1-10 against the Packers with 22 interceptions.
I saw that. That stat was unbelievable.
I can't believe it.
Is anyone better at the shot of my team is getting blown out and let's get a shot of the quarterback looking sadly at the sidelines than Cutler?
Oh, they love it. Yeah.
He looks like every time they show him, they should just be playing like Morrissey music or something.
Yeah. Well, you just wonder when Marshall's just going to elbow him in the eye on the sidelines at some point. That's what they keep waiting for.
Well,
what do you got for a line here?
We wondered for years and years if he was going to be the Jeff George of this generation.
Yeah.
I think we're headed that way. Bears -3 over the Vikings.
You're going to get this one. I went high with this. I forgot the Vikings actually have a better record than the Bears. I said 5. You said 3. It's 3.5. And you're crazy to touch this game. Anybody out there?
I'm worried about Wilbon because between the Bears and now the Bulls, like they lost to the Celtics on Saturday. They look terrible. I guess he's got the Cubs. The Cubs are going to win 5 World Series in a row with this juggernaut.
Cubs could be good with Madden, yeah.
But man, this Bears thing, it's almost like you have to like blow everything up.
1-10 with 22 interceptions. So he was 1-9 before yesterday with 19 or 20 interceptions. Like, why didn't we know this? We should have pounded them. Those are Washington Generals Globetrotter numbers. That's crazy.
You could talk me into 7 teams to win the Eastern Conference in the NBA. In case you're wondering, yeah, because the Bulls, Rose is already hurt, and Pau Gasol might actually have a. I don't think it's a pitchfork, but it's like a tiny little shrimp fork in his back.
Really?
Yeah, that wasn't as I thought that was going to be an impactful signing, and I'm not sure it is.
Oh, a pitchfork would have been interesting at least. That would have been good for the Grantland show.
I'll tell you, the Toronto Raptors at 10-1 are very intriguing right now.
Yeah. All right. Sounds like you're talking me into Eastern teams.
Well, they have like $20 million in expiring salaries, so they can go out and get somebody like, if the Pacers decide to unload David West, somebody like that. But I thought Kyle Lowry's playing like one of the top 10 guys in the league. They're one guy away from being super dangerous. Watch out. We might have to, maybe offline, we'll discuss Toronto at 10-1 to win the East.
Let's take a look at it, but I have 2 words for you. Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah. Don't count them out. Look them up. Look at their roster. They're loaded. Don't count them out. Speaking of Cleveland, Houston at Cleveland.
Oh,
4-5 Texans at 6-3 Browns, and I hit this exactly. So
you did. Ryan Mallett's debut.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Guess the line, and then we could talk about that. That seems.
I have Browns by 5.5.
Oh, it's too high. I said 3.5, and it is 3.5. Actually, what? I think yours. It'll probably end up going to 5.5. Ryan Mallett and a maybe no Arian Foster.
That is too much respect for Ryan Mallett.
Yeah.
Also, Browns with 10 days rest.
Right. Now, I'm not a fan of them laying a lot of points at home, but I'm telling you, that secondary, the Tashawn Gibson is the best player no one's ever heard of. And that rookie Gilbert's getting better, too. Watch that secondary.
You're so in the bag with the Browns.
I like them. I do. Well, they're fun.
You really are. It reminds me of Peter King's coverage of Roger Goodell over the last few years. That's you and the Browns.
If you don't have proof, crazy. Seattle at Kansas City. I hit this one exactly, too.
Oh, this is a great game.
Great game.
You know, this might be a borderline loser leaves town match.
Really? Yeah, actually, yeah. Maybe.
The Seahawks can't go 6 and... Would they be 6-4?
6-4. I wasn't as impressed with them as everyone was. That defense isn't as shut down as it used to be.
I'm not impressed by them either. And Wilson just doesn't look that good, and it's hard to say whether it's the weapons or maybe we overrated him. I don't know, but I just know that he doesn't look that good.
Yeah.
Chiefs 1.5.
Well, I said Seattle by 1.5, and Seattle by 1, and it is Seattle by 1. I like the Chiefs there, dog.
Hey, Kansas City fans, that is a total lack of respect.
Yeah, it is.
A total lack of respect. And
after covering 8 straight, and they were even favored by 2 over Buffalo until they said Watkins was playing and Jackson was playing at running back, and then Buffalo was favored by 2. That was weird. Let's do Atlanta.
I don't know, dog.
It's a tough one. What do you think? I think that's a big home game that they don't blow.
Panthers, Falcons.
Yep. Atlanta, Carolina. 3-6 and 3-5-1.
I don't think they can be favored by 3. I'm going to say Panthers by 2.5. I think Vegas likes the Falcons.
You're going to get this. I went way high. I said 5.5. It's 3. It is actually 3. But who knows what happens today?
Can I read Dog's rant about Michael K? In the
Not
Dog voice?
Oh, Mike Francesa.
I mean, Mike, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Here's what Mike said. He got upset at Michael K the other day. I don't listen to any of it. If you listen to it, it's just silly. I don't take it seriously because I don't have any respect for where it's coming from. You haven't heard me mention anyone else's name on the air here. Oh, I did mention Boomer and Carlton once last week, but that was just in passing. But you will never hear me mention. I've never mentioned any other station. I do not do that. I never do because you know what? I've never noticed them. They've never been on the landscape as far as I'm concerned. I've never seen them. I can't even find them in the rearview mirror. Never have in 20 years. Still can't find them. So what am I worried about? I've been on the same show 28 years. I was number 1 in 1989 with Dog. I'm number 1 today. Last time I looked, it's 2014. I'm still number 1. I've got a long-term contract, beautiful family. I've got Mink. What else would I want? Here's the Mink Man. Thank you.
Here's the Mink Man.
Thank you. That's one of the great rants in radio history.
That is
I've
really
got Mink.
good.
Here's the Mink Man.
I've got Mink. He buried the league. He's got Mink.
I am Team Francesa for life. I love that guy.
Why don't you and
I've been number 1
team,
for 28 years.
Let's do a 6-man tag. You and I and Francesa against Michael K and the other and the 3 mics.
All the mics. All right,
Let's
we'll
do
take it.
All right. What do we do?
I've got a beautiful family.
Sure.
Oh, it's great. He's the best.
He's good. Cincinnati at New Orleans.
Oh. 2 teams I do not trust. Saints by 6.
Yeah, you're going to get this. I said 4. I still think Cincinnati's not bad. It's 7.
Well, last time I looked, it's 2014, and I'm still number 1. So.
Did you look? When did you look, though? Did you look this morning? Because it could be.
I've got a long-term contract and a beautiful family, and I've got the big man.
All right.
He is the big man. I have Podcast Joe.
If things get bad, you got Podcast Joe.
People are talking about Mark Maron. I've been doing the BS report since 2007. I've got Sal. I've got Podcast Joe. I've got Jacoby.
You got a Diet Coke endorsement that never ends.
It's great.
He is terrific.
God bless you, Mike Francesa. You are the best.
How have you not had him on? I think he would just laugh for an hour. I don't know if you could ask him anything serious.
I do not do podcasts.
That's right. It's beneath him. I forgot.
When he and Dog get back together, it's honestly going to be like the real life version of when Andy and Red reunited at the end of Shop.
Yeah,
that's how I'm going to feel.
Yeah, it is. By the way, I finally saw.
In memory of Alan Green.
Speaking of reunions, I finally saw the Eagles documentary. Terrific. It was. You were right. You were totally right. And I don't give a crap about the Eagles, and that was great.
That's great.
Tampa Bay at Washington, not great. Not a great reunion. This game.
I have the Washington professional football team favored by 7.5 points.
Oh wow, you're way better today than I thought. I said 6, and it is 7. So you are up.
Hey, Sal, last time I looked, that's 2014. I've won 3 of the last 4 years.
That's true. You have. All right, Denver at St. Louis.
Denver at St. Louis. I love the Broncos yesterday. I love 2 games this week. I love the Browns on Thursday night, and I love the Broncos. And I did not put money on either of them because I'm stupid.
I hate to do a Mike Francesa brag session here, but that was my best bet on SportsCenter's Denver over Oakland. And I had written down, I said, I'll even give you a score, 41-17. And I didn't. I don't know why. I have it on paper. I could show you. I didn't say it during the segment. Stan Verrett cut me off or something, and that was that. But yep.
You didn't say the score.
I didn't say the score. No. I've written down.
You were number 1. You were number 1 in 1989 with Stan Verrett, and last time I looked, you're still number 1.
Well, I owe it all to Minko.
I have the Broncos favored by 9.5 points.
All right, I get this. I said 10, and it's 10.5.
Oh.
There are better bets.
This has all the makings.
On the road.
Is there a way to bet on a scenario where the Rams are either leading by 3 or trailing by 1 with 14 minutes to go in the game and the Broncos win by 20?
I think we could do that.
Okay.
I think my guy will handle that.
I'll find a casino to take that.
San Francisco at the New York Giants.
Oh, God.
5-4, 3-6. Wait, we crossed the Giants off, right?
Yeah, we're crossing them off.
All right.
49ers by 3.
I said 3 also. 4.5. A little bit high, I think, for this zigzag team that Niners give us every week.
Is Tom Coughlin at the stage where if he's your dad, you try to get him to move into your house to be with the family 24/7?
Yeah, and then you pull the plug as soon as you make his bed. Yeah. Well, they just won't fire him, right? They won't fire him he's too old to fire during the regular season.
Dad, we don't want you to live on your own anymore. Why don't you move in with us?
Dad, you burned down our sister's kitchen. I think this is it.
Dad, this is the 3rd condo you've burned down.
Dad, you slapped Minko in the face for no reason, and he's all we got. All right, late afternoon, Oakland at San Diego. San Diego pulled this out. Barely won this game in Week 4, 31-28.
What is this game?
Oakland at San Diego.
The Raiders have never been on the landscape as far as I'm concerned. I've never seen them. I can't even find them in the rearview mirror. Never have in 20 years. I had the Chargers favored by 10.
Oh, come on. You had it exactly. It is 10. God, I really thought I'd win this week.
No, I'm locked in.
All right. Detroit at Arizona. This is the game of the week, supposedly. 7-2 at 8-1.
I'm going to read you a Bruce Arians quote that you already read because you read Peter King's Monday Night Football column, but I'm going to read it to you, and I want your reaction.
About the Super Bowl and everything?
This is President-elect Bruce Arians, our 2016 Democratic nominee. We can win the Super Bowl with Drew Stanton.
Yeah.
There is no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in his mind, cuz.
That's crazy.
There's no doubt in his mind.
I think there's no brain cells in his head, too. Look, Stanton's great, and I like what he did for a backup to come in and throw long. After, we see dozens and dozens of backups just check down to the fullback when they have 90 yards in front of them. But I love he threw long at Michigan State. He's good, but I don't know what that does to this Drew Stanton, who's also is having a baby this week. A lot of pressure on this guy all of a sudden.
We talk about that in the podcast every year about how when somebody in an important football position has a baby, that should factor into the lines for 2.5 weeks.
Definitely.
Especially if it's the second baby.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it is. Right. The wife's like a week late. They want her to have it like today, so it doesn't interfere with prep for this game.
Drew Stanton comes home. He's like, hey, Carson got hurt. I'm the starting quarterback now. His wife's lying on the side in her bed watching like Gilmore Girls reruns. She's like, I don't care. Just give me water.
Would you name the baby Carson? Like, what if this is the beginning? This is his Lou Gehrig moment where he takes over for Wally Pipp. You almost have to name the baby Carson.
Oh, that's such an FU, though.
Yeah, whatever. Sort it out later.
Well, Bruce Arians, there's no doubt in his mind.
Not a one.
And last time he looked, it's 2014. He's number one in the NFL right now. He's 8-1.
He got rid of his rearview mirror. I hit this one exactly. Detroit at Arizona.
I had the Cards by 3.
Right now it's 2. No respect.
I'm not a Stafford fan, but I thought he did a really nice job on that last Miami drive. And I thought the pass he threw for the touchdown was about as high of a degree of difficulty of a QB play as there is.
Yeah.
And he made a great play. He threw it in the spot the guy could catch it. And he also got screwed. Calvin Johnson screwed him on that touchdown in the back of the end zone. He didn't fight for the ball. I thought Stafford was good yesterday because Miami's defense is excellent.
This is a very similar team. I mean, except for the Calvin Johnson monster at receiver. But Arizona's got some great athletes at receiver too. But they both seem to try get it done somehow in games that you don't think they're going to win after 3 quarters.
Lions Chiefs Super Bowl would be a fan base extravaganza.
That would be fun.
The greatest moment in either fan bases. I guess the Chiefs, you'd have to go back to Lynn Dawson, but the Lions have never really had a great moment.
You don't want to put the Browns in there, but that's a good team right now too.
No, I don't want to put.
Which 3 of these do you like best? Super Bowl rematch: Broncos Seahawks 7-1, Pats Seahawks 10-1, Pats Packers 10-1.
I like Pats Cardinals. What's that?
Pats Cardinals. Interesting.
Yeah.
I was looking at that.
I have no doubt in my mind that Drew Stanton can win a Super Bowl. Because President-elect Bruce Arians told me to think that.
In his backyard, too, right? Super Bowl's in Arizona. Wait, let me look that up.
Are really good.
That would be good.
I think
it's got to
be
30-1 or something, right?
So the Cards... I really like the way Carson Palmer's playing, but I don't feel like it's not like Andrew Luck in the Colts or something like that, where if the guy goes down, the team's done.
Yeah, you knew they had a
same
chance.
thing with
just crazy with
Sanchez.
The contract
Foles is very similar. Like Foles didn't play well this year. It's not like the downgrade from Foles to Sanchez is going to make or break that team.
Right. Why can't I find Patriots? They're not even going to let you bet Patriots Cardinals.
Well, they probably want to. It probably threw them off when Bruce Arians said he had no doubt.
Yeah, that's true. They had to take it off the line.
Figure that out.
What are you doing to us? Oh, come on, wait. I want to find this. Patriots.
Well, I'm setting the line, 20-1.
Well, 20-1 is Broncos Cardinals. I think you're going to get a little. There it is. Wait, 25-1.
Ooh.
There you go.
I've got Pats Cardinals at 25-1. I got a beautiful family. I got Mink. I think I'm in.
Is Mink at the coin toss? All right, next.
Mink, we're in. We have Pats Cardinals 25-1. Mink, man.
Eagles at Packers. That's a good game too. There's a few good games there this week.
There really is. Aaron Rodgers told everyone to relax.
He's got to keep winning, right?
Yeah, since he said the relax thing.
Yeah.
I have the Packers by oh man, I forgot Sanchez was in here.
Oh, you see? But everyone loves him tonight, but
I'm going to stick with it. Packers by 6.5.
I thought I'd get one on you there. I said 6.5 also. It's 6.
Oh.
We're doing Packers. The Packers win that game. Well, we'll talk teasers after this. Now your game, the Sunday night game, New England at Indianapolis.
Yeah.
You have to be a little nervous because every week there's a new best team, right?
I know. Well, and also we learn every year that you can't even seriously think about a best team until Thanksgiving.
Right. I don't know Belichick's record after buys. It's probably pretty good, right?
This one is the toughest one of the week for me because it's either 2.5 or 3, and I went back and forth.
Can I tell you you're exactly right about one of them?
I know. Well, there's no way it's not 2.5 or 3, and I can't decide which one it is. And I'm going to say Colts by 2.5.
It is 2.5. I said 2.5, and so it is 2.5.
That's the right line. It's the right line for that game.
Yeah.
I don't think the Colts can be favored by 3 after they gave up 51 points in a game.
I can't believe you beat me this week. I picked 4 games exactly, and 4 I was off by 0.5 point. You're going to beat me.
Well, last time I looked, it's 2014.
You really ruined it. But you are nervous for this game, true?
No. I'm not that nervous. I think we're better than the Colts. And I think the team that we have on D is a good matchup for the Colts. We have a really, really, really good pass defense.
Okay. Would you go as far as to say this is for the bye?
I'm not guaranteeing a win or anything. I'm just saying, there's worse matchups for the Patriots than this Colts team, because I think the way you're going to beat the Patriots going down the stretch here is by running the ball down our throats. I don't think you're going to beat us by throwing the ball.
Well, I think the loser is the 3 seed, and this is a bigger game than even Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth will say it is.
They got to be excited for this game because they've gotten screwed on some of these Sunday night games. It's
so funny. Collinsworth was totally leading Al Michaels into, how much downtime was there in that blowout yesterday? And so Collinsworth's who do you say is the best in the AFC? You got the Patriots, and then who? And Michaels
that's good, Collinsworth.
He's like, let me think about it. He's like, let me think about it. He's like, oh, come on, say the Colts. We're playing them next week. That's our game. He's like, Denver.
This is why I could never be allowed in a national TV announcing booth, because that game was 45-0 or something with 12 minutes left in the third quarter. I just would have gone straight into just grilling Al Michaels about OJ.
Right.
Al, seriously, basically what I did to him on my podcast, but I just would have turned the game over that. But Al, seriously, you played tennis with OJ a lot. You never saw it coming at any point?
He never saw it coming in his rearview mirror. AC Cowlings.
Al, who's the best female celebrity who ever hit on you?
The best.
Best looking. Can I just read you the Colts wins?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Jags.
It's terrible, yeah.
Jags, Titans, beat the Ravens by 7, barely beat the Texans, killed the Bengals, and beat the Giants. Congratulations on all those great wins.
But they have a bad loss in there. That Eagles game they should have won. That was a Monday name. That was bad.
They almost beat the Eagles.
And wasn't there another bad loss?
Game.
Maybe I thought
the Broncos beat them pretty convincingly, and the Steelers beat them pretty convincingly.
The Broncos, was it convincing? Yeah, I guess. It ended up closer.
It was 31-7.
No.
Or they were up by 17 in the second half. It was a turnoff game.
All right.
Yeah.
And then Monday night, Pittsburgh at Tennessee. Ugh.
Pittsburgh by, Zach Mettenberger
versus Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I got Steelers by 4.5.
All right, I get this one. Woohoo! I said 5. It's 5.5. And you love a Steelers Saints teaser this week. Well, why don't we go Steelers Dolphins? Let's go Thursday to Monday. I'm
not putting the Steelers in any sort of tease or parlay or anything.
That
team
is
not to be trusted. They're not
done.
to be trusted. Do not trust that team.
All right. Well, you won 9-8, I think. Whatever.
I can't even find you in my rearview mirror.
You can find me on Jimmy Kimmel Live tonight. Keira Knightley, Nate Parker, Spandau Ballet. How about that? Later in the week, Christoph Waltz, Mike Myers, Tears for Fears, Jim Carrey, and Orange Juice Jones on Jimmy's birthday. He personally requested Orange Juice Jones. And then my blog on Grantland Thursday afternoon, and my weekly segment with Neil Everett on SportsCenter Thursday at 10 Pacific through Friday afternoon. I hit 3 teasers in a row. That doesn't happen, and I'm 6-3 with my best bets. There you go.
You're doing great. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, buddy. Are you coming for any of these shows? Tears for Fears?
I think I might come Wednesday.
Okay. Who's Wednesday? Mike Myers? I don't know. Yeah, come by Wednesday.
On Wednesday. All right. The Cuz. Good job by you.
Good job by you, Billy.
All right. We promised JackO last week. America loves JackO. We never got to JackO last week. It just never happened. I apologize. I apologize to all of you. I apologize to America. I apologize to North America. I apologize to all the continents. But JackO, we're going to call him right now. He has no idea we're calling him. I want to ask him about A-Rod. Let's see what happens.
Complex Litigation, this is John.
Oh, Johnny.
Hey. What's up,
How
buddy?
are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
We were supposed to call you last week, and I never got around to it. So now I'm calling you.
Excellent.
I missed you. I missed your musk. I missed your voice. The readers missed you. They were mad that we didn't call you during the World Series.
Yeah. Well, it's good to be back. I've missed all of you as well.
Sal and I just did our Week 10 lines, or Week 11 lines, and we were talking about the Mike Francesa, Michael K feud.
Yes.
Which I'm sure you've been following diligently.
I have been.
Did you know that Mike has a beautiful family? And he's been number one for a long time?
25 years. I've been here 25 years. When you've been here 25 years, you get back to me.
And I've got the McMahon.
I love the best part of that, of course, is the classic, I'm not going to respond to these comments. I don't respond to that kind of thing. And then a 2-minute monologue about all he's accomplished.
It's a Mike staple. He
so
never
good.
knows what's going on, but he always has the 2-minute monologue ready.
I haven't been following that, but here in minute detail is my response to it, which I'm not going to respond to. It was fantastic.
I'm not aware of anything.
Yeah.
We're inching closer and closer, right, to Francesa and Dog coming back? Like, realistically, what's the timeline? How does this go?
Please, God, let that happen. Unfortunately,
How does this go?
I happened to be listening after the World Series. I guess I was driving home from work, and it was actually a couple days after the Giants won, and somebody called up and said, have you heard from your former partner yet? Francesa goes, no, I haven't heard from him. He goes, I heard from him after the first one, but not after the second, so I don't expect I'd hear from him now. It's like, how does Mike not give him a congratulatory email? They were together for 20 years, and Mad Dog loves the San Francisco Giants more than anything. You think Francesa, even though he is the sports pope, would reach out to Mad Dog and say, hey, great job on that third World Series in 5 years, but nothing. So that doesn't bode well for a reunion, sadly.
Hey, Dog, I just wanted to congratulate you. 3 and 5 is something.
That is a great, great, great job by your Giants right there.
I'm not ready to call you a dynasty, but it's in the conversation.
Oh, he vehemently said they were not a dynasty. In his definition, a dynasty has to win back-to-back.
Really? That's part of the definition of a dynasty?
According to Francesa, yes. He was saying that they were not a dynasty.
Do you believe 96-01 Yankees were a dynasty?
Of course. And I believe that this current iteration of the Giants is a dynasty. If you win 3 out of 5 World Series in this day and age of free agency and everything else, that's a dynasty.
I got some. I talked about this in a column or a podcast. I can't remember, about how we need a word for like a junior level of a dynasty that's not really a dynasty.
Right.
Some people were saying it should be regime.
There you go. That's not bad.
Like the Yankee regime from 96-01.
I mean, I don't think this Giants team is really like, to coin a phrase, I'm not going to be bouncing my grandkids on my knee telling them about the 2014, 2012, and 2010 Giants. But, I mean, 3 World Series in 5 years, nothing to shake a stick at.
I thought the last 2 World Series teams, and I include my beloved 2013 Red Sox, were the 2 worst World Series teams that I've seen win since the 88 Dodgers. But that Giants team, and I was intimately familiar with them because Sal and I had the Royals, obviously at 18-1.
Right.
That Giants team had 2 batters who scared me. And as long as you got through Sandoval and Pierce and Pence, that was it. You take the next hour off until those guys came up again. I can't believe they won the World Series. And their closer, Casilla, always felt like you could get a hit off that guy.
Well, I mean, I watched a grand total of maybe 15 minutes of the World Series, and I
Johnny.
I watched bits and pieces, but I think I determined that I'm really more of like a Yankees fan than I am a baseball fan, because literally, if both of those teams walked into my office, I could pick out like 3 guys. I was like, who are these people? What?
I felt the same way with the Giants started Tim Hudson.
Yeah.
And I was like, Tim Hudson? That's so funny. It's the same name as the other Tim Hudson. I was like, oh, that's Tim Hudson.
Yeah, that's Tim Hudson that retired 5 years ago. Wait, what?
What? You're in the league?
Yeah,
I don't follow the National League. It really was illuminating to me how little I followed the National League. I only knew Jake Peavy was on the Giants because he was on the Red Sox and we traded him.
Right.
But
and they won a World Series with Jake Peavy and Tim Hudson prominently involved. It was crazy.
The Dodger fans are the one that have to be ripping their hair out because they had like a better version of that Giants team.
Right.
You know, and like Kershaw easily could have been in that Bumgarner role, but couldn't even get him out of.
I think I hopped on the Dodgers bandwagon for once the Yankees were out of it for Donnie Baseball, and
yeah, I figured.
I think I impacted them with my William H. Macy cooler bad luck that I've had going with baseball this year. So I apologize to the Dodgers for that. That's why I never mentioned the Giants, because I was half-heartedly rooting for them in the World Series, even though I couldn't pick 3 players out of a lineup. But I was rooting for them, so I was happy with the result.
At least we got Joe Madden out of the American League. That was nice.
Amen. Thank God. Yes.
I'm excited to have a lousy Tampa team again.
That's good. I know. They can't find a manager. They were thinking about Raul Ibanez to behind the bench. I heard that on the radio yesterday.
Oh, no. Really?
Yeah. Apparently he's one of 8 candidates in the mix. I
like there was some of the Rays players were lobbying for bench coach Dave Martinez. I like when players lobby for a coach. It was always a red flag.
It's not a good sign, no.
Yeah. We like this guy. Uh-oh.
Players manager, yeah.
Yeah. If you want the guy to get the job, you actually probably shouldn't lobby for him, right? You should wait until they ask you, and then
right. Say, boy, anybody but Dave Martinez, boy, he's a real drill sergeant.
Rave about him. Do you want to talk about last Tuesday at all? In the most down the middle way that we possibly can.
The election?
Yeah.
I was very happy. I mean, unfortunately, here in Connecticut, we're stuck in the dark ages. But the rest of the country was fantastic. It was a resounding victory for the Republican Party. There's no other way to spin it. They have the most seats in the House they've had since Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig played for the Yankees. They have one of their largest majorities. Well, ultimately, we'll have one of their largest majorities in the Senate in a while. And they have like 30 governorships and some ungodly amount of state legislatures. So yeah, it's a red country. It's good.
So what channel are you watching on Tuesday night? What's your channel of choice?
Well, I'm naturally pessimistic by nature, so I was dour when I came home, worried about how things were going, and I started off on Fox News, and then when I saw it was going well, because I'm the devil, I immediately switched to MSNBC. So I literally had like 4 hours of MSNBC and Freud, if that's a word, because I was so happy.
You do the same thing with the Red Sox. You go to Boston.com the moment things start falling apart for the Red Sox.
It's true. I enjoy nothing more than the misery of my enemies. So I enjoyed watching our fellow Holy Cross graduate Chris Matthews almost have a complete psychotic collapse on the air. I greatly enjoyed that. The beer and the wine and the Schadenfreude were flowing at Casa O'Connell, let me tell you. It's good night. Good night.
Another thing that's flowing, you might not be aware of.
Yes. I'm nervous about this segue.
Daisy Buchanan's in downtown Boston.
It's closing. Or maybe it already closed. I know they were saying it was closed. I heard about that at the end of the baseball season.
It's day to day. They were open this weekend.
Oh, really?
But the pillow could be shoved over the head at any time.
It's the go-to place for visiting sports teams, right?
I had some great nights there that I can't remember. But if I could have picked 5 bars in Boston that were never going anywhere, that would have been one of the 5.
What happened?
Daisy Buchanan's, the Sevens, Warren Tavern, Red Hat, and the Fours. I think would have been my 5 picks for just we'll be there till the end of time. Until
I don't think I ever went to Daisy
apocalypse.
Buchanan's.
No, that's not true. I've taken you there.
Oh, all right. I guess I don't remember either. I guess I enjoyed myself.
It might have been one of those things where you're just wobbling in front of the jukebox trying to pick a song but repeatedly pressing the wrong buttons.
And all
A JackO staple?
Well.
Why so much country music, JackO? I thought I pressed A6.
I wish I had put more money in to keep them open. Sorry about that, Daisy.
Well, the guy, he sold the building for like $15 million. But then as part of it, like he lost control over it somehow wasn't in the agreement that the bar would stay. And then the new owner, as soon as they got it, were like, all right, you're out.
Ooh.
That was my understanding.
That's not good.
He said he can open another bar somewhere else. Like that they just reopened Daisy's in a different location. But the appeal of Daisy's was that it was the best location probably in Boston of all the bars. Like it was right in the middle of everything in the Newbury Boylston thing. So it's a bummer.
Hard to recreate that, sadly.
Yeah. Well, I as in the words of James Dixon, I wish him a lot of luck recreating a Daisy's location. I know people don't care about Boston bars, but this was really important.
There may be a few people that do.
One of the iconic Boston bars. There was a good piece on Boston.com about all the ways it intersected with sports over the last 40 years, written by Steve Silva and Chad Finn, that I recommend. What else is going on, Johnny? What TV shows are you watching these days?
I'm trying to think. What are we watching these days? Just the usual. I like this show Hell on Wheels on AMC. That came back this weekend, although I haven't watched it yet, but I DVR'd it. I'm excited about that.
That's your first show you're going to mention is Hell on Wheels?
Well, you caught me off guard with the TV thing. I wasn't expecting that. I'm trying to think, what else are we into these days?
No Showtime shows?
You know what I'd like? Well, not Showtime, but HBO. I've really been into and I think I'm the only one, is this Dave Grohl Sonic Highways thing. Although I did see that your Grantland had an article about it today that I haven't read yet, but I've enjoyed that show. I enjoyed Dave Grohl, and I enjoy his musical journeys through America. I've read reviews where it's been absolutely obliterated, but I like it.
Why are people obliterating? I've seen one. I thought it was cool. It was different. I
don't know. One reviewer I read, maybe that was the only one, it said it was really boring, and he didn't see any point for it. But I've been into all of them. He's gone to 4 places so far, I think. Chicago, Austin, Nashville, and Washington, his own Washington, D.C.
Well, it's not a real show until they interview Joe House.
Well, I was disappointed the Washington, D.C. one, because Fugazi was prominently featured, and there was a lot of pictures of old Fugazi concerts, and there was no images of a young, thrashing Joe House, so I don't really believe that those are real pictures.
I like the idea that Dave Grohl show. I wish there were more music things. I mean, hopefully this leads to U2 deciding to steal the idea and do their own version of it.
For Journey. Well, I guess they kind of already did that with Rattle and Hum a little bit.
Maybe 25th anniversary.
Maybe. There you go. They're updated musical influences. Yeah.
Do you think HBO could try a different version of the same show with Mike Francesa doing his radio show from different cities?
He doesn't have any influences. He's the only influence. He didn't need influences.
I've been number one for 28 years.
It could just be a documentary of him saying, I'm not going to discuss my influences, and then for 60 minutes discussing his influences.
They can match 3 things: resumes, longevity, ratings, paychecks. That's classic. So 3 things: resumes, longevity, ratings, and paychecks. That's 4 things.
Right. Well, he didn't put counting as one of the things that he could tower over anybody with.
I like. I hope that one heats up.
The Francesa K thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it definitely is because
Michael K's a badass. He'll keep firing back. He doesn't care.
And the very first show they did on Yes, they prominently threw away a bottle of Diet Coke because that's the iconic Mike Francesa drink. So K's coming out firing, and you want to be the king, you got to shoot at the king. He knows the drill. He's got to shoot up and try to take him out. So not literally shoot, obviously, but figuratively, try to take him out.
I think it's a good analogy. I think there's a lot of similarities to Tupac and Biggie in the mid-'90s.
That's right.
And it's just a matter of who gets shot first.
It's, of course, fitting that this latest feud is a result of A-Rod, who just sows discord in his wake wherever he goes. Nothing ever comes out smoothly for old A-Rod, unfortunately.
I totally forgot. That's why I called you. Somehow we didn't get to it for 15 minutes.
Well, I'm glad I could bring it up myself.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
No problem.
So A-Rod is like your DH next year. He's on the Yankees and he's in the starting lineup, right?
Yeah, he's going to be the DH. I don't think I guess they're not looking at him to play much third base. They're going to apparently re-sign Chase Headley. That's their goal, which is fine. A-Rod's going to DH, and then they wanted A-Rod to see if he could learn to play first base so he could back up the equally oft-injured Mark Teixeira. So hopefully between Teixeira and A-Rod together, you have one competent DH first baseman.
The funniest thing about Mark Teixeira is he's a pretty good media guy, so eventually he'll end up being on the Yes Network. He's just going to be part of your life for the next 30 years.
I know.
One of your least favorite Yankees.
Well, there was off-season whisperings that the Yankee front office or whoever was unhappy with his off-the-field pursuits and his financial things and trying to, other separate businesses, that they thought he was too focused on that. So I think that's a little, I don't know.
So he should just be an idiot like the other baseball players?
Well, that they thought that he was too distracted and didn't focus enough on baseball, and that he had some of these injuries when he's like, I can't play tonight, that he could have played and that his heart wasn't completely in baseball.
I can't play tonight. I've got to catch up on Meet the Press. I'm 2 episodes behind.
Or it was like, his wrist was hurt from day trading all day instead of from swinging a bat or something, I
have a headache from being on my cellular phone.
Exactly. His eyes were blurry from looking at the stock ticker all day. He couldn't focus on the ball.
What are the rules? Because I don't know the rules anymore. It's like Alex Rodriguez, he's a proven liar, correct?
Oh, yeah.
It's proven, like I could call him a liar.
I think that's safe. I'm pretty sure, yeah. So all reports indicate that because he went on Francesa's show and vehemently denied taking steroids, and then, leaked stories when he was interviewed by the DEA, he's like, oh, I absolutely took steroids, and I did this and that, and I had this quantity of drugs and whatever.
So there's the first headline that comes up if you Google A-Rod lied is Rodriguez reveals he cheated, lied, MLB.com.
Yeah, exactly.
The second one is A-Rod, I've never used steroids, CBS News.
Yeah, that's probably an outdated one.
Flashback to his Katie Couric interview. Then Bob Rassman. Bob Rassman, who goes after everybody. Bob Rassman. Yeah. Mike Francesa continues to look like fool for letting Alex Rodriguez lie in an interview. So he's bringing up. He has he lied to Mike Francesa.
Francesa had the long, hour-long maybe interview. When was it? Before he got suspended. A-Rod poured his heart out and said that he never did anything. And Francesa bought it hook, line, and sinker. He was always a big A-Rod supporter and remains so, I think, to some degree. But Bob Raceman hates Francesa.
He hates everybody, though.
Yeah.
Who does Bob Raceman like?
Well, no. Both he and Mushnick, who are the media guys for the Daily News and the Post, they just hate everybody. They savage everything.
Yeah.
Red Barber's not coming back on the air, fellas. Let's just move on,
New York Post 5 days ago. Even A-Rod realized the lies had to stop somewhere.
Finally, after a year-long suspension and 5 years of denial, well, it seems about the right time.
Poor A-Rod. And I mean poor A-Rod as in morally poor A-Rod.
Well, I mean, A-Rod literally is in the Mike Tyson zone now because now that there's a story that came out a week or two ago, or I guess 2 weeks ago, about he paid his cousin $1 million to keep his mouth shut about steroids, which was unsuccessful. And then the cousin is mad at him now. And then the cousin's wife came out and said, like, A-Rod urinated on their floor or something. It's some sort of power move, like keep quiet, and like urinated on their floor. So the term you coined a long time ago, the Tyson zone. I mean, I'll believe anything of A-Rod now. If they say he was involved in JFK's assassination, at this point you could say it and it would be believable.
That's a power move to urinate on someone's floor?
I didn't even read the story. I just saw the headline and the blurb underneath. And
it puts my dog Rufus's behavior over the last 10 years in a much better perspective.
Right,
he's
just trying to tell you to keep quiet about his leg humping shenanigans. He's gonna warn you by peeing on the rug. So yeah, I did see that. A-Rod's wife's cousin says he urinated on their floor, and it was like banner headlines at the Daily News or the New York Post or somewhere. And I'm like, oh my God, I just can't read any more about A-Rod.
I would like to put A-Rod in the Tyson zone. I'd also like to put any story that starts with the sentence A-Rod's wife's cousin.
No,
that's
A-Rod's
also
cousin's wife. Yeah.
A-Rod's cousin's wife. That's also in the Tyson zone.
I wonder if A-Rod can sue the cousin for breach of contract, because if you pay someone $1 million to keep their mouth shut and then they go public with it, I think you should get your money back, don't you think?
Totally.
Total breach
refund.
of contract. Absolutely.
That should be a spin-off of the People's Court. Where people who are terrible morally, but actually were somehow cheated, should be able to get money back for extortion.
He was wronged. Yeah, so it's shaping up to be a fantastic Yankee season.
Well, why wouldn't they just waive him? Why do you want this guy in the team? Why do you want somebody who's like proven to be not a morally great person?
I don't know.
Why do you want him around your baseball team?
It's an excellent question. He's owed $61 million by them, I believe, is the round number. And
write it off.
I know, but that's the thing. It's $60 million, but if you're the Yankees, like, wouldn't it be worth it just to get rid of him and get $60 million of good publicity? Like, just buy yourself $60 million of goodwill. I don't understand why they wouldn't do that. I don't get it. And unless their hope is that they're hoping that he can go to spring training and then they say he can't physically compete because of his hip and being away for a year and change. And they hope to get, say, well, his contract should be paid by insurance or something. But I mean, $60 million to the Yankees, they should just say, let's just eat it. Get rid of him. Save everybody a lot of headache.
Chumps change.
They should think of their fans, because I have to be an apologist for him for 162 games now. And it's impossible. So anytime I'm good-naturedly jibing with my Red Sox fans, and all they have to do to end the conversation is say A-Rod. No comeback for that.
It's certainly worked for me for the last few years.
Absolutely. You can always say, at least none of my players urinated on their cousin's floor, as a power move, as far as we know.
Yeah, I actually think Kevin Millar might have done that once, but I don't fully remember.
I'm pretty sure, but it's different. There's a difference between drunkenly urinating on the floor and doing it out of a power move.
Hey, last thing I've noticed from your Facebook account, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of girls soccer posts now.
Oh yeah.
You're in. The hooks are in.
Oh,
travel soccer? Is it travel soccer?
Yeah, my daughter plays travel soccer. And,
so you're traveling around the streets of Connecticut every weekend?
Traveling around the state of Connecticut every weekend. And mercifully, last weekend was our last weekend of outdoor soccer, because it was like 35 degrees with hurricane-force winds. That wasn't so much fun to be outdoors with a soccer game. But yes, I'm quite the aficionado of under-9 girls travel soccer. Absolutely.
So I'm in year 2. Now, knowing you and I mean, let's be honest. You're not one of those guys who keeps it cool 24/7.
No, I am. Now that I have kids, I'm a lot calmer, and I'm not going to be like Dennis Hopper in Hoosiers at a kids' soccer game. I don't want to mortify my daughter. I'm very calm, cool, and collected. Plus, all these refs are like 16-year-old kids. I'm not going to scream at a 16-year-old kid.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I've had trouble keeping it in from time to time.
No, I'm pretty cool, and it's easy to be cool because her soccer team for under 9 girls is like the 27 Yankees. They had a tournament last weekend when they played 4 games, and they won all 4, and the goal differential was 22 goals for and 3 goals against.
Oh.
So when you're winning games like 5 and 6 to nothing, and it's pretty much, and then they have to you can't score more. You're not supposed to have a bigger differential than 7 goals. So they went up one game 6-0, and then they just went into the four corners of passing the ball for 20 minutes. That's less than exciting to watch, but it's easy to be calm in those circumstances.
Yeah, I don't support that. There's a lot of things I don't like about youth sports right now, and one of them is the whole backing off strategy.
Yeah, you should be able to run it up like an SEC team playing a 1AA team.
It's not a good life lesson. Or just move the kids around, have them play different positions or something, but don't teach them to actively not succeed.
It was so bad in some of the games that my daughter's team, they would play like a girl down. They would purposely play like 5-on-6 or 6-on-7 just to give the other team a shot. And
well,
they still couldn't score.
Where do you get to under 10 when you have adult refs? And going from under 9 to under 10 is so much more competitive. And the girls are just like some late clicks for all of them. And all of a sudden they're flying around. There's more shoving. And that's when like the parents get a little ornery. The problem isn't with the refs. It's with the other parents.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I found that to be very annoying. But I have been a little tempted to shoot back some comments at some other parents for other teams because they get, when their kids getting killed, they tend to be a little snotty, and I don't take so kindly to that. But I've admired myself for my restraint. Very proud of myself.
My wife said during a game last year, before we decided not to have her come to a lot of games anymore, my wife said to a woman on the other who was rooting for somebody on the other team, said, "I've never punched a 70-year-old lady before, but I'm willing to start right now."
Oh, my God.
Actual quote from my wife.
Nice.
My wife's like Charles Bronson. She just drives around L.A. like nearly getting in altercations with people. But it heats up. Soccer heats up.
My wife played soccer in high school, so she was way more into it to begin with than I was. But I always say to her, "You're just this side of Marv Marinovich." Just this, we're right on the line with her and making my daughter the next Todd Marinovich. So I'm going to make her watch the 30 for 30 to show what can happen. But we've got it.
What if I told you women's soccer was more than a life?
Exactly. Yeah, mercifully for my daughter, she's not forced to gnaw on frozen liver yet, but it could be coming down the pike.
Yeah. My son naturally eats all the things he should eat. Which he likes egg whites more than like having the yolk in it and things like that.
Nice.
And it's
LA
kind of
lifestyle.
like, well, no, it's kind of like if Marv Marinovich was his eating coach, but Marv Marinovich isn't actually here. He just telepathically knows how to do it. So we actually have to force him to drink milkshakes and stuff. But
that's good.
Eating habits are always interesting for little kids, especially now that you don't know what the hell's going on. I have a whole different set of issues because my daughter's 9.5 and some of her friends are 10. And, we had the yearly physical last week and the doctor told us about, it's almost time to, she's a couple years away, but it's not a bad idea to start talking about puberty. And my wife, they had to carry her out of the room.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that either.
My daughter was just 2 a week ago.
I know.
Really?
It's crazy how big.
This is on the radar now?
It's a cliche, but it's crazy how fast they grow up. It's like a blink of an eye.
Yeah. Well.
Getting old, buddy. Getting old.
In about 3 years, she's going to hate my guts. And I can't wait.
Enjoy your time together while you can.
Be great. She'll hate me almost as much as you hate A-Rod. JackO, always a pleasure.
Joy.
Can you watch some more TV shows? So we have some TV stuff to talk about. How about
Homeland?
Homeland?
There's things like I'm going to kick myself
no
after
Homeland?
the fact. What's that?
No Homeland? Nothing?
No, I never got into that one. No. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's things that I'm thinking of that are just escaping my brain. I'm not thinking of that are lost in my brain at the moment. But
what are the feeling you've slipped into the CBS demo and you're just not telling me? Like, should I have brought up Blue Bloods and CSI New Orleans?
No, none of that. No, we do watch The Big Bang Theory, but I'm guilty of that.
Right,
we watch a lot of HGTV, a lot of home repair shows.
Oh my God, I'm ending this. All I know is I've been number one for 28 years, and I have the Mink Man, and I have JackO. Thanks for coming on. BS Report coming back later this week. And don't forget Grantland Basketball Hour, Thursday night, ESPN, 7 p.m. We have some good guests planned for that. Check it out. We'll be back with the podcast later this week. Thank you, JackO.
Anytime.
So I get to sign off. Whoa.
Thank you for downloading the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Podcenter at ESPNradio.com.
Peace out.
Hey, what you got there, Golick?
The new Subway Chipotle chicken melt with guacamole.
Man, that looks good.
Yeah, this new guac is really bringing the flavor.
Got one for me too, right?
Well, yes and no. Mostly no. Well, really, all no.
Try the irresistible new Subway Chipotle chicken melt with guacamole, juicy grilled chicken strips with Monterey cheddar, Chipotle Southwest sauce, and new guacamole made from ripe Hass avocados with just a hint of jalapeno. Subway, eat fresh.